right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Ultraviolet Grasslands tonight, and we are down to Joe for like 15 minutes. So hopefully like 20 minutes. He'll be here. So Musclemancer will go on. Right now, both Chuck and Dan are furiously creating backup characters just in case, because we left in a bit of a cliffhanger last time we played. They were in a bit of trouble, and we'll see if those backups are needed. But yeah, we're back to our weird journey game with, I don't know, religion and some strange woman in the sky trying to tell you to do things and stuff. I don't know. In space, yeah, that's right. Space, something about that. But yeah, why don't we just do a little round table, introduce characters, and if you got something to plug, feel free to do it, and then we'll get started. So no Joe, but Ensen slips and falls and dies. So then Melissa, why don't you tell us about Satrap 956 Lamb?
Yep. So Lamb is a satrap, orange suited. I had forgotten because I made the mistake of reading my notes from bottom to top instead of top to bottom. So I was like, why do I have disadvantage until my next long rest?
You died.
Because I died.
Again,
and came back again. So that was a bruiser was what I had rolled on the chart there last time. So I'm sitting at a grand total of 3 life at the moment. And I have a slot for an ability, so I am on the lookout for something that I practice and get good at. Last time I got deflate and dodge for free when I died and came back. This time I'm going to have to earn it.
Why do I feel like there was like a limit to the amount of times you can die and come back?
Not an important detail.
Am I just
Not
making that
You're
up?
just imagining that, I think.
Am I just imagining it? Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Dan. No, I don't.
I'm definitely the authority on this.
When it comes to death, Dan.
I'll look it up just in case to see if I'm like cheating again, because
When would that happen?
never.
All the time.
All the time. It's very true. Okay, next up, we've got Bert. Bert, tell us about Khalil.
He's just a humble coffee merchant, a seller of beans, the squeezer of the essence of the juice. Sometimes I make it magical so that it puts you to sleep. It's a trick. I tell you, it's a trick. Very, very tricky thing to make caffeine put you to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. Just a humble Safranian bean merchant that wants to kill you all and take your stuff and sell your body. Don't forget the selling of your body.
Yes, Khalil has been at the forefront of the body trade, the Purple Haze body trade job that's been going on.
It's not like you're using it anymore.
That's fair.
But, let us be really fair, though. I'd still sell you even if you were still using it.
That's true.
Yeah,
I mean, at least you're consistent. At least you're consistent. Okay. Then we've got one of our 2 imperiled characters. We've got Chuck.
Hey, I'm Chuck. I may or may not associate with Defenders of Kobold. And I may or may not still be playing Tango Carne, our blue ghost friend. He wasn't alive to begin with, so can I be that upset if he's dead?
That's a fair point. It's very enlightened of you. It's very enlightened. Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
working on a new one right now, but we'll save it. I mean, I'm sure at some point everyone's going to die and we'll have to, reset characters here or there. But yeah, so we'll keep it a surprise in case it happens. I'm very excited I've heard like Chuck's like randomly throwing out like, oh, I did this and they did this. Like, I have no idea what the totality of the character is going to be, but like there's been little pieces he's randomly uttered over the past like 15 minutes that I'm very curious about. So it should be fun. And then we've got the man, the myth, the legend. We have MSG. Not Jeremy, the MSG. So tell us about him, Jeremy.
Of course. Yeah, I'm Mercutio Salvatore Giovanni, MSG to my friends, and much to Jeff's chagrin, I actually refuse to die. It would never happen to this character, ever. And for our good friends there, they're quite in luck that MSG happens to be a very heroic member of the team that would do anything to save them, so long as it's not too terribly inconvenient. He's a cat lord, very chivalrous when it suits him.
When it suits. Yes, yes. But you also understand like the hierarchy of things, right? Because it's just, it's a shame we don't have a second Crackers right now, because that would be fairly useful right here.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be great?
I miss Crackers so much.
Yeah.
Need another Crackers.
I think he's still with you. We just kind of lost track of which skeleton he is, because they're all you have a couple skeletal laborers, I think, and you just don't know which one's which. I think, is that
Maybe
true
when we
still?
go to the fort. I think so.
Yeah.
I thought they were all. I thought when we were severely outmanned when we were trying to run away last time, I thought that took out all the rest of our skeletal.
Oh.
Folks.
I don't know
all
if they
the
took the
Crackers.
skeletal ones. I think they took the living ones. Your living.
Oh, that could be.
Well, it was one of the living and.
Oh, okay.
In
Well,
my
maybe it
notes,
was
we
Crackers
have
and maybe
the
it wasn't. Who
cook-
knows?
We have the cook left, the navigator left, and one skeletal porter left.
Maybe
I'd like
that's
this-
Crackers.
Yeah,
Could be.
I'd like to submit that that's Crackers.
Yeah, I think it's like a Robert Paulson thing in death.
Sure.
Our people have a name.
And like you go on a sub quest to get him like skin back, and you finally put his musculature skin back. I'm like, oh, does anyone remember what Crackers look like? And
I'm pretty sure
just
it's
assume.
just like this.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, all you humans look like.
All right. And then finally, we have our other imperiled character. We have Dan. Dan, tell us about Satrap 418 Teapot.
Yeah, he's kind of become our Vec repair guy, basically the mechanic for the party, and encourager of doing dumb things, it appears. Because I've talked multiple people into almost dying,
Yeah.
or making good decisions with me.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, there's like so many things that can kill you out here in the wastes and this ultraviolet grassland. So many things. Probably more things that can kill you than not kill you. So I think that kind of outweighs it. And we're like maybe even a third of the way out here too. It just gets worse from here. It just gets crazy from here, and we're already
So
gonna kill.
you're saying UVG is Australia? Is that what you're saying? More things that can kill you than not? Is that okay?
That's
I think that's
probably
what I
one of the inspirations. I would think. All right, so let's get going. Just a little summary. So, going through my notes here, you all currently are on a job for the Purple Hazers. That's like a sub job, and then you have your holy quest of ascending to the sky like the shamans of old, being led across the grasslands by the vision of a massive, perfect true mother. But your side job has been to take a package to Fallen Umber, which is a different destination further west. And failure to do so within a very timely manner would earn you some really bad ramifications, courtesy of that Purple Haze network. But you did learn that the package is actually a couple of living bodies. It's not like just meat, it's not just like empty meat sacks and organs and things. It's actually multiple living bodies. And you've learned that they have been mind burned, but their personalities and memories remain kind of like suppressed somewhere down there. Both MSG and Tango have recently joined a revolutionary movement. Each was given a code name and a secret task to deliver special packages. MSG was to the Grass Colossus. Tango was to the Forest of Meat. Teapot, you learned that your trainer was involved somehow in a potential assassination of some kind of archaeologist out by the ribs of the father, and that might also somehow be tied in to your vision quest as well. But that's something maybe we'll get to down the road. You've got that large cylindrical. What's that?
Maybe if I die, maybe not.
Well, yeah, I know you're the only one who interacted with the NPC. There goes that storyline. You also got that large cylindrical key that is supposed to help you achieve your goal, and it actually allows you to unlock a entrance to a place called the Tomb of the Dragon Also Rises, which was hid beneath this mercury-filled lake. This separate caravan told you that there is immense riches beneath there. And then you had a couple new members of your own that joined your caravan. Ronkar, this documentarian, and Davor, this grave robber. Both of them also kind of confirmed that led you here. Last session, you got in a fight with these prawn assassin mechs that were controlled by tiny shrimp in the brain. Tango and Teapot both entered the tomb, only to have their souls immediately sucked into a giant mechanical pill bug or roly-poly. The rest of the party eventually found the lake's drainage system, drained the lake, and then they made their way down and inside this area. You all are at day 29 of 56 for your Purple Haze clock. So just keeping you up to date on that. You're about a week away from Fallen Umber, plus however time it might take you to actually find the Oasis and your contact. So like getting to the destination is one thing, but then finding specifically is another thing. So but you're little more than halfway. So the last thing we saw, I believe, was MSG, Lamb, Khalil and his kite, and our Musclemancer had just stepped through this kind of security field into this tomb that, and like you guys resisted having your souls sucked out. And then as you all kind of looked off to the side, I think it was MSG, he saw like a holograph of some strange kind of quarter moon faced individual who tried to communicate with you, it seemed like, but you couldn't understand a word he was saying. And then you watched as like the wall where like souls were getting sucked to just started to move. And it wasn't a wall. In fact, it was actually just this giant biomechanical being that just started to kind of move off away and deeper into the tomb. And you saw these little cylindrical like battery type things glowing on its back, almost like spikes. So that's our summary. Let's go ahead and start then with the main squad, the group of four, who are inside. You've just seen exactly what I just said. You just saw the wall, let's say to your, to the side. We'll say this is like, call this sideward, right? So you drop down in vertically and then off to your, let's say to your right. You can see the wall just suddenly shifts and starts moving. And you watch as this massive, like hippopotamus size, like really fat hippopotamus size, roly-poly starts moving off with all these weird glowing spikes. And then you also have this archway where you saw the holographic image appear, MSG, that kind of goes, we'll say, inward. So there's like sideward and inward. What are the four of you doing?
Well, the sneezing hologram seems to be saying to go that way, but my gut tells me our friends are on that roly-poly over there.
Probably follow them, and we can always go back the other way once we've recaptured our friends. Somehow. I don't know how we're going to do that, though. But we should still keep an eye on them.
Sounds fair. I assume the first step is to apply violence on the creature taking them away.
That might work. We should catch up to it, though.
It's not moving terribly quickly. Like, it's not moving like an extraordinary speed. It's leisurely pace. You could probably keep up with it pretty quickly. But it does seem to be moving kind of in a totally opposite direction, perpendicular to the direction that the glowing holograph was. So, like, you basically have a choice. Like, you either follow it or you go the holographic way. So what's the preference here?
Is there anything that resembles a face or a front of this large creature?
Okay. Do you have any skills and sort of machinery, engineering, biomechanics, anything like that?
I have expert mimicry, so anything I've seen, I can repeat.
I don't think that applies here.
Worth.
Just roll a thought test. Just roll a flat thought test then.
Okay.
To see if, because other than like the front part of it is moving forward, and most creatures move towards their face. Like, thought might give you something more.
5.
Thought does not give you anything more.
I don't do much thinking.
I mean, I'll say this. You notice that it definitely seems armored. You can see these like ridges over top of it. and there are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 100 of these, maybe even less of these canister spikes kind of spread out all around its carapace. Only a couple of them are lit up. Most of them look to be like kind of empty. Think of like those old like pneumatic tubes that banks use and things like kind of like that sort of shape. And a couple of them are are lit up, and you can see there's like something swirling around inside of it. The rest of them are empty, and then you would presume maybe the front, like the part of it that's leading deeper into the sideward portions of this tomb might be its face, but you don't see anything to suggest it's a face. Like there's no eyes, mouth, anything like that.
So, I mean, does anybody feel like being all nimbly-bimbly and climbing up and just plucking the little tubes off? Or do we just open fire now?
You read my mind, actually.
I'll go. Khalil takes a quick espresso shot.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you want to
try it?
Okay, so you just want to try to like kind of climb up and like try to uncork one. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want
not making any sudden fast moves, and just kind of slowly, moving towards it and climbing up it.
Let's say agility probably would make sense here. If you've got anything that's specifically like acrobatic, like go ahead and add that on top of it. But otherwise, just agility.
Not really. But we do have a heroic die at the beginning of the game, right?
That's correct. Everyone take a heroic. So you
I
roll
will
with advantage. If you want to burn it.
spend it, rolling with advantage. And my agility is +3.
I was gonna say I have like 34. What?
No, so 16,
16's your best. 19's your best. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's plenty. Yes, you managed to start climbing up the sort of the backside. You find it's not that difficult to climb, but you do notice that in between these ridges, as you're climbing up, you're noticing that the part that's actually that kind of carapace armor is the easy part, but anything in between, you notice there's like some kind of strange flesh in there. Like it's charred and it's almost scale-like in some ways. And every time you touch it, you feel like this little acidic burn like on your finger. It's not melting your fingers or anything like that, but it's just like you can feel it kind of burn just a little bit. And you also notice that there are across all of the different pieces of the carapace, there are these tiny holes here and there that are, you're not sure exactly what they're for, but they don't seem to be directly connected to some of these canisters. Okay. But you climb up. You're going for one of the lit ones?
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid those holes, thinking they might be a gas expulsion place.
Yeah.
They might be the creature's buttholes. Who knows?
Your Skeletor hand should be easy going on this.
Yeah. I will say, by the way, one of the ways you could get XP is just to spend a day observing this creature. Like you could literally just do this for a day, just kind of follow it around, learn where its buttholes are, and get some XP for that. Okay, so yeah, you get up and you can see that it's not just a simple. It doesn't look to be just like you've climbed up, no problem. You haven't fallen, you haven't hurt yourself. It doesn't seem to be trying to throw you off of it. And then you try to kind of uncork or unscrew, and it doesn't seem to easily unscrew. It doesn't seem like this doesn't seem a case of just simply counterclockwise turn. Do you have any like mechanical skills or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I am a surgeon.
Okay.
Other than that, and I know my way around a coffee maker, but other than that,
okay.
No, I do not.
Okay, two things to roll then. Roll a thought test, but then I want you to just roll like a random d6.
Okay.
Don't add it. It's just for something else.
All right. Well, here's the thought test. A mere 3, and a 4 on the d6.
Okay. All right. So you maybe get a knife out or a scalpel or whatever you might have on you, and you start just finding a way to to score a bit, and then eventually you are. It takes a couple minutes, and the whole time this thing is slowly moving deeper, and you're passing by these large arch tunnels. Not a whole lot to see. It just seems like this empty, dark passageway. The rest of you are, I'm presuming, following while this is happening. Is that fair?
Mhm. Yeah.
You see an occasional like cutoff here and there, like a sideway, a sideways, almost like a vent shaft or something like that, kind of going off in one direction. Everything's very high though, like kind of very high ceilings. Like it would be perfectly fine for someone who's like, it's about 15-foot clearance or so, 20-foot clearance. And when you're on top of this pill bug, like you're fairly close to the ceiling, but there is a couple feet worth of clearance. But after a couple minutes of messing around with this, Khalil, you're able to, not smoothly, but certainly effectively remove it. And in the process of doing so, you see some of that glowing bits inside just sort of drift off into the ether. You start to see it's like a gas, like this lit gas that just begins to disperse into the atmosphere because there's nothing to kind of block it as it does, as you pull it off. And so it's just slowly this glowing vapor is pouring out.
Okay. I will try my best not to inhale that.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
we attempt any sort of like a recall? Because I feel like we saw at least one of sort of the desoulings and we're able to see this go up into one of the little canisters. Like, can we try to recall which canister has one of our caravan mates inside?
I don't think anyone was down here when Teapot and Tango were down here. I think you guys came down later, right? Yeah, I think you guys came down later, and
Okay.
you found Teapot's body at the door. Does that sound right? I think that sounds right.
Yeah, we went and made mistakes first.
I don't think you would know. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Like,
Yeah, I couldn't
because if
remember
it's
if we
like a
couldn't have visited
reflection
here at
thing
the
now,
time.
I don't think you would know necessarily.
Okay.
But you're on its back still, Khalil. You have this canister. You're holding it out in a way so you're not to inhale the vapor that is just dispersing now into the atmosphere.
I would like to try and cap it with something.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could easily cover it up. That's
Yeah.
not an issue. Yeah, you can cover it up. Even just cloth or something on, you could easily kind of cover up. No problem. Okay.
I think all the magic smoke is leaving the vessel.
It looks like it.
Okay.
How many more are there?
Many. I got one.
Okay, and I'll look at the bodies and see if anything changed in Teapot's. I guess Teapot is the only body to actually look at.
No. And we'll say that Ensen's carrying Teapot's body. It can be useful while he's not here. Okay.
I mean,
That
maybe
one
just
wasn't Teapot.
Okay, well, they're on
Maybe
there
they-
quite tightly. It wasn't easy to remove.
Would you like some assistance?
Well, I'm just saying, there's quite a few of them, and there are these holes that I think might be gas vents of some sort. It doesn't seem to mind being climbed upon.
Oh, I'm just spitballing here. What if we just shoot them and then, maybe our friends will breathe the vapors emitted after we shoot it? And...
Okay, I just drop the thing I picked up. So it falls on the ground to shatter to see what happens.
Okay. You drop
Science!
it. The canister shatters. And you can see that the vapor just slowly disperses until it's gone.
I start yelling at it. Hold yourself together, man!
It's at that point that you see that coming out of some of those smaller holes in the backs of the carapace, you see what almost looks like these little, I don't want to say retractable arms, but like these little kind of pistol barrels kind of extend outward. and you can just see that they're kind of there's this little laser that's just sort of going out of one or two of them on each ring, and you can see that it's sort of looking. It's like it's trying to find something, and so it's just like this laser light show all of a sudden. Yeah, all of you go ahead and roll agilities while I get this, because there's Joe. While I get ourselves set up with the new, with Joe getting in here. And I'll say Bert, Khalil can roll his at advantage because he kind of he had like a bird's eye view of everything.
I'm sure I just did wonders for the overlay.
No, it's all good. I was semi-ready.
Ooh,
Okay.
23.
Just moving some folks around.
Wow. Yeah, when you get a 26, it's hard to tell if you should feel good or not, because is that a split down the middle, or is one of them high and the other one low?
That's right.
All right, I think I got everybody. Okay. So, what did everybody roll?
23. What are we
23.
rolling?
You're playing roll an agility. This is for basically dodging out of the way of lasers that are trying to apparently find something. So
Okay.
if you have anything like athletic wise, acrobatics wise, that kind of stuff can apply. Still got a little bit more to do to get this figured out.
Class and chat was just binging through them, so we got
Nice.
a good recall of our recent session.
Good. Someone needs to know what the hell's going on, because I certainly don't.
It definitely sounds like Ensign to say that.
Am I back in
Mine
my
is-
body?
Yeah,
So
I don't think you were
failed,
captured.
right?
Wait, where?
When I went through the gate, I was ripped from my body.
You were? Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's totally different then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought Ensign was okay. So it's a three of you.
No,
It's a 50-50.
he was confident that he would be, but he was not.
Oh, that sounds so familiar now. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down. Okay. Did anyone roll lower than a 15 on their agility? And you don't have to roll this,
No.
Ensign. You're fine. Okay. You all managed to very quickly dodge out of the way and find like a vent shaft or somewhere like a little alcove on the side of the hallway to hide yourself in. And this laser show continues to go on over and over again, but it doesn't seem to manage to get you. Now that Joe's here, let's cut and go to the other group. So we'll flash back a couple minutes, an hour ago, when first Tango arrives. Because I think it was Tango, and then it was Teapot, and eventually it was Ensign.
Well, I think I went in first, didn't I? Because I was down at the bottom and had the key.
I thought Tango did first. Because doesn't he usually go first?
It's like can't get hurt, so usually I go first.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the case. I don't remember either.
All right, just for ease, we'll say you all go
We'll
in
go with that.
relatively around the same time. Okay. So, one by one, all of you, the three of you, so this is Ensign, Tango, and Teapot, all of you, like you have this weird sort of out-of-body experience. Even for you, Tango, it feels strange. You feel as though your consciousness is suddenly taken a moment off. Like you don't know where you were. It's just like a fugue state, where you don't really remember the past few minutes, and it's kind of like you're waking up from a nap, and you're just not really sure where you're at. Like you're in an unfamiliar bed, and you're not really sure how you made it here. And that's when you start to look around, and you realize you can't look around. Like you can't, like you don't, like Ensign, this is probably most alarming for you, considering physicality is really everything there is to Ensign. But you don't feel your muscles.
I thought this experience didn't exist.
You don't feel your muscles. You don't feel, like you kind of reach out instinctively for your musclemancy. You don't have it. Like it's not there. It's like it's empty. You go to look down at your hands and you realize you don't have hands. You are in this sort of strange and and dark void with occasional little blips of light, like this violet light that apparently that periodically like kind of shifts here and there. Teapot, Tango, you have the same feelings. Tango, you probably adapt the quickest, having been disembodied for some time.
Yeah.
And you realize like this is disembodied, you know.
He's even been put in a box once before. Now he's been put in a jar.
And
Yeah.
Teapot, like, I don't know exactly, again, what's inside your suit, but there is, like, you're used to having a physical form, and you realize at this point you don't. And, like, you whatever controlling mechanisms you use to move your limbs, your arms, legs, etc., they are gone. Like, you do not feel them, the appendages, anything. After a moment, like,
This isn't what I thought death would be like.
you guys see
Oh,
these
man.
little spludges around, and you start to realize, Tango, you probably take the lead on this. You recognize what kind of like a soul sort of looks like in its disembodied form.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
forget,
man.
Kite is there too.
There's Kite too. Oh, geez, that's gonna be heartbreaking.
Yeah, man, like those are souls and like your souls and like welcome to, you know, a day in the life of Tango.
Are we like in the same jar?
You don't really see a jar. You just see sort
Or,
of like
well,
this.
the same space at least.
Yeah, you're just in like, you don't even really see any kind of physical boundaries of any kind. You're just kind of in some weird non-physical space.
So like, did we go to hell? Is that what happened?
I don't think so,
mean-
man.
Have to be, because this feels like hell.
It's a lot hotter there. This is just, you know, someone's caught us, man.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Meanwhile, a smaller soul comes up, and it's just like, that's what the kite sounds like to me.
Now I'm going back towards this being hell again.
Kite is a beautiful, luminous being. It's all the good parts of Khalil.
The most beautiful, bright, luminescent, but somewhat small bit of vapor suddenly appears before you. And you don't know why, but it feels like it knows you and you know it. You're not sure exactly who it might be.
That's
But all of you can hear
weird.
each other's thoughts, by the way. No problem.
I picture it looking like latte art just because it's related to Khalil.
Yeah. You guys are just sort of swirling like amoeba-like in and out of each other. Like you're almost like your vapors have their own sort of defined space, but as you're kind of passing through each other, like it'll part for a second, and then you'll kind of re-encompass yourself as you get to the other side. And none of it hurts. You don't feel pain, confusion, but no pain.
Could you tell us like about that like think outside the box thing you did that one time?
Oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I? You just, you know, imagine not being in a box. I mean, I
But
could
when
try.
you weren't in the box, then you normally could exist not in a box. Do we go back to our bodies if we leave, or is that more involved for us?
I mean, if you don't, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean,
I feel like it's slightly bigger of a deal for if we're
I don't-
supposed to go somewhere.
I don't know if I've ever been in a box to properly imagine being not in a box.
you'll be fine, man. It's like, it's cool. All right, I'll tell you what. I am going to think outside the box and see if I can get us all out of here. And then you all just do what I did.
Right.
You got
Okay.
this. It's great.
So you guys watch as like Tango's body begins to like kind of flicker and kind of shift. It almost looks like it's working, like sort of dematerializing a bit, like it's the Back to the Future photograph, and then like it comes back into to sort of fuller, brighter volume. And that's when you hear or you feel or you sense, Tango, a voice say, "Yeah, that's not gonna work. If it was that easy, I would have done that years ago. Years."
That wasn't me.
No, it was me. Hi.
It's not creepy at all, man. How's it
Oh.
going?
Oh, sorry. I'll show you myself. And you see like this, like kind of like glowing black cloud just begin to emerge from all of the parts that aren't you guys. So like imagine this void and there's you guys and you what you think is just darkness between you, and suddenly it just kind of illuminates and you realize, oh, we are literally within this larger thing that's communicating with you. Got kind of like a Gilbert Gottfried voice. Why? But not as obnoxious.
Like, does this mean like we're your children and stuff?
Oh no, I didn't do this to you. No. I just been stuck here a while is all. It's really good to get company though. Really good. I'm so lonely. So very lonely.
Has it always been just you?
Oh no, there were people come and go. You know, they shine like bright stars, and then they get fed to the dragon, and then they go away, and I'm alone again.
How come you don't get fed to the dragon?
Oh, because I'm very clever. I hide. I try to teach others how to hide, but they don't listen to me. And then some of them said they found me annoying, and that they would rather be fed to a dragon than to spend an eternity with me. Can you believe such a thing?
That's rude, man.
I mean, not yet, but give me enough time.
Oh, he's the funny one. Okay.
So, like, how often does this dragon thing eat?
Oh, well, you all were here, just got here recently, which means you're probably gonna go get dumped off pretty quickly.
Oh, that sucks. Can you teach us how to hide?
That one.
Sure. I'd be delighted to. I always wanted friends, and now I've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 friends. Oh, lots of people. Normally it's just 1 or 2 at once, but 4, that's just wonderful.
Oh, cool.
So, what were you before you got vacuumed in here?
Oh, wow, it's been so long, I don't even really remember. I've been here for, well, I don't even really remember that either. It's just been so long. But anyway, what you want to make sure you do is you want to think really hard about not getting dumped off into the dragon. And you do that by concentrating really good. You gotta have a really good sense of self. One might say a powerful aura. If you don't have a powerful aura and perhaps dumped all of your points into physical attributes, you might be pretty fucked right now.
Who would do that?
Man.
Who would
I
do
don't
that?
know.
Ensen. Okay.
When you start to see the lights flicker, that's when you know that the little hippo creature is dumping off into the dragon.
That's
You
really
see,
weird.
people think this is a tomb. It's not a tomb. The dragon's alive, just really, really hungry. And it's not even really a dragon. I don't know where that came from, but I fell for it too. I think. Otherwise, how did I get here? I must have fallen for it.
Did you have a funny round key that lets you in here too?
Funny round key? I don't know what you're talking about. That's just crazy talk. No, I didn't. My ship found this one just floating around. And we docked like we normally do. And then suddenly things started malfunctioning. And my entire crew, I don't remember how many there were, well, we all just started seeing ourselves just get drained and drained. Crazy. It was years ago, though.
Does that mean we're on a spaceship?
A spaceship. You just
There was.
use such strange language. I just don't even understand your lexicon here.
Where did your ship sail?
Ship sail. Oh, goodness. Goodness me, I got a bunch of wisecrackers. Okay.
No,
Okay.
we killed Crackers, man. So no.
Yeah, I mean, we killed him good.
And it's at that point you see the lights begin to flicker, but it's like, oh, this is awkward. This is not right. That's totally different. I don't know what this is. Everybody roll a charisma test.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, we have
Bert,
7.
roll one for Kitey.
Do we add anything like relevant skills in any way?
It's a pure luck test, so it's just straight
Okay.
charisma. Oh, well, don't worry. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. You just get underneath and you just see as like all of the glowing black like cloud that had been surrounding you. And you just say, why? And then he disappears.
Oh
That
no.
was that was unexpected.
Well, I guess that we could survive for eternity without his company now.
I
Was it
thought
just
that was,
whoever rolled lowest?
yeah, it was. That's so funny. I can't. It's hilarious. The NPC is the one that disappears. Oh goodness. All right, that's fine. Okay. That's so funny.
Good thing we got the advice first, guys.
I really like doing this voice. It's very fun. It's a mix of many different things. Okay, so we'll cut back to those of you that are outside. And you see like the broken canister on the ground. You see like the little flickering, like the last little bits of vapor just dissipate, and then it's gone. And then you see the lasers are shooting around looking for you, and they can't find any of you. And then eventually you see the hippopotamus pill bug thingy just continue onward. The lasers kind of still occasionally just doing like what looks like a basic security scan at this point, just looking around, but it's starting to move again now. What would you all outside like to do?
I think Lamb wants to climb up and see if she can gather a couple and see what happens if we can bring them back out the other side.
Okay. Sure.
Bring tools with you. It's not easy to remove tools.
I didn't come prepared with tools much. Well, actually, no, probably anything tool related would be back on the caravan.
Okay. You're going to need to roll an agility test of some kind, and it's going to be even harder than it was for Khalil because there's now these defense like scan lasers that are going off.
Can I pull my expert mimic right now that I've seen him climb so that now I can also climb and pull?
Yes. The difficulty will still be a little bit higher, but yeah, you can definitely use that skill now.
Okay. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I am going to use my heroic to add a d6 to that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
16.
Just enough. 15 was the target. As you managed to, at one point, you all watch as a laser just kind of gets on the back of like Lamb's helmet, and you watch as just exploding outward from all of the tiny little holes on the back of this creature are these pieces of light, just like little, like almost like they're it's firing like this array of like little tiny, almost miniature missiles, just firing. But she manages to dodge out of the way, and then they just explode and creating this small cavern in the metallic grating that you've been walking on. It's just this huge hole in the ground where she just was a second ago, but she dodged it away just in time.
I do
And you
also have deflate and dodge, so I had a couple
Mm-hmm.
different skills to help me with that.
Sure. So yeah, you get on the back, no problem.
And so basically what I want to do is I just want to kind of grab them and take them out because I want to see what happens if we open them on the other side.
Okay. So I mean, it's a thought test to try to figure out kind of how to do it, because it's not. Or if you just want to just do pure strength, I suppose we could probably just do pure strength too.
That's better
But
than
that
strength for
would
me.
risk. I'll say this: just pure strength would risk breaking them.
Yeah, all I'm wanting to do is disconnect them from
Okay.
the pill bug. I'm not looking to open them.
Okay.
Can I still get the benefit from the expert mimicry because I saw
Yes, that's fine.
Khalil do it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a +3 then this time. 14.
This is thought or this is strength?
Thought.
Okay. So you start to, and it's taking a lot longer. 14, the higher the better. It's basically the quicker it's going to take to do it. But 14, decently well. But it does take you most of the rest of the way. And then you can see as it emerges, like as it's been going down this sort of long, sloping kind of metal corridor. And eventually it goes through this archway into a massive sort of circular chamber. And at the center of which you can see there's this huge dome with all sorts of these tubes and these wires that seem to be adhered to various pieces of machinery that are hanging around and down from rafters. And the rest of you can also see that there's these like occasionally 2 or 3 different flickering holographs, just like you saw before MSG, every now and then. There's not that many, and you can see some of them don't seem to kind of keep their form for very long. They kind of flicker out a bit. Others manage to kind of keep in place. It's a very dark room, but there's all sorts of consoles like surrounding this area, and you can see that there's on like the far wall, probably a good 100 feet on the other side of this room, there looks to be some kind of like elevator lift action going on that could potentially, you're not sure, whether at this point probably goes downward considering where you guys are. But Lamb, it takes you until that gets into this large and just sort of fairly massive room for you to finally get one off. And immediately the vapor begins to...
Can I...
and also Ensen, Tango, Teapot, and Kite. Can you all roll a charisma test? Can you do what, Lamb?
Can I try to get that kind of tucked into a pocket of my suit?
Sure. So you
Like
quickly
Satan's
kind of
magic.
cover it up and tuck. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. I just need one for Kite. So Bert, can you give me a charisma test for the Kite? Okay. So you guys inside in vaporware, you just saw this wonderful gentleman just evacuated. And as everything's sort of starting to calm down at this point and everything, you start to see that flickering sort of light again, like out of nowhere. And in moments, you're talking to each other, say all of a sudden Teapot just disappears.
My last words are going to be, I wasn't thinking outside of the box.
Okay. Okay. So you now have a canister. It's got almost all of the vapor inside of it, and you've got it covered and sort of tucked underneath your suit. What are the rest of you doing that we're following? So Khalil and MSG.
Clearly this thing is trying to go somewhere with our friends and don't really want it to get there. It's a big lumbering beast. I am a big game hunter. I want to see if maybe I can find a good joint to shoot out and make it difficult for this thing to keep moving.
Okay.
I forget. Did they leave their bodies behind?
Yes. I think they're at the. We'll say they're at the entrance to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe a proximity of the bodies might be useful for that just vapors to have something to get back into. Perhaps we should get the bodies.
And Lamb's just sort of up on this thing and just going to be all sound. That sounds great.
It's a good idea. I'm not the strongest person in the world, so I think I'm going to shoot this thing to slow it down first.
Okay. So MSG, as you're thinking that and saying that, you see it just kind of get into that large room, and as it crosses the threshold, you can see that central dome chamber area begins to suddenly shift and move almost automatically, and it kind of peels back one layer, and another layer goes in kind of the opposite direction, and then it seems to sort of open up what looks like a parking spot for this thing. Like, it's just the perfect size for this hippopotamus roly-poly thing, and you can see it's making a beeline right for it. So you can go ahead and take a shot at it.
I will.
And you're specifically trying to aim for what you think might be like a way to slow it down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give its AC up a little bit just because it's like a called shot, essentially.
And I'll spend one of my heroics.
For advantage.
For advantage.
Okay, go for it.
So D20 plus 5. Okay.
Okay.
I'll try one more time. Because
Could get a crit.
Roll better. Nope. 23 is
Okay.
not bad.
All right. That will, in fact, it's got very high AC, but even with the called shot, that is still good enough at 23. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
Okay. 8
Meh.
points. Oh, that's not that great. That's not that
No.
great.
Like how Jeremy was like, it's okay. So I was like, yeah, no, that's not great.
It's not. On 2d10, 8 is like.
Okay.
eh.
Okay, so you
so
see it.
just to remind you that I'm on this thing
Yes.
while you're shooting it.
It's
And
okay,
you
I'm a
do-
professional.
You do feel it immediately, like kind of clunk down a bit, as if it's like a car that just had one of its tires kind of blown out a bit, and now it's just like it's still moving, but it's moving a little bit more erratically and slowly. But it's definitely affected it. But also, like, suddenly all of those little barrels start to emerge out at this point. The things that shot all those tiny little missiles. Lamb and Khalil, I'll give you both actions here before this thing takes one.
Well, I think I was already heading back
Okay.
to grab bodies.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so I don't think I.
All right,
would
so you
notice.
ran. So you're
Mhm.
just running and you're grabbing a body. Okay, or two. You can probably carry
Or
a
two.
couple.
Yep.
Yeah. Lamb.
All right. Lamb wants to action movie this up. So Lamb has a radiant gun.
Okay.
And so I basically want to, sure this is going to go horribly wrong, but basically just like she tucks, that little pneumatic tube thing into, the pocket of her suit. She wants to take the gun out and basically just like jump off. And while doing so, just shoot at this thing.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. So go ahead and do that. And you want to jump off and you want to shoot. So you're trying to do a move action. I'll tell you, with your mimicry, you saw Khalil kind of hop off earlier. We don't need to do an agility jump. But I will say, like, doing all this, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to increase the difficulty just ever so slightly on your attack. I'm going to give it just a little extra bit since there's a lot going on here. But go ahead and give it a try.
Okay. And I've got 4 agility and I've got deflate and dodge is the ability that I want to use with this.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's going to be a +6. I do not have any heroics. It's a 10.
You don't have any heroics? Okay. So you leap off this thing, you do this beautiful acrobatic move in the air, and you fire. And the gun goes off. The projectile, the beam of light kind of travels, and you can see that it makes very clear contact. Like, that's not the issue at all, but it seems though that it's whatever defenses this thing has, you're either the type of damage or the velocity of your projectile, whatever it might be, is wasn't enough to sort of bypass the hardened exoskeleton, the carapace this thing has. Okay, so then this thing is going to go. I'm gonna 50-50, 1 to 3. It'll be Melissa. It's gonna shoot at you as you just flip off and drop down in the room.
This is
MSG's
bad.
got a sniper rifle, so he's probably a little bit further away and is able to kind of shoot from a distance.
Me and
Bravely
my
sniping from a
3
distance.
health.
Okay, so this will. That's a 26.
Oh my
Does,
gosh.
does that hit your AC?
Yes, Jeff. That hits
Okay,
my AC.
I just wanted to make sure.
Say no.
He'll never know. He never checks character sheets. Okay. So MSG, this is going to take her down pretty easy. You said you have 3 hit points left, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
do.
good. This is going to take you out.
Oh no.
So MSG, you watch as like 20 or 30 of these tiny little missiles just fly out like they're just firing a barrage of heat, like some kind of like heat seek, and they all kind of go in different directions and eventually kind of coalesce and shoot in the direction and kind of curve down towards Lamb, who is going to take. I actually rolled really poor with damage too. That's 10 points of damage.
So it's still going to take me down.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did my roll
Okay.
because I've memorized the page of the book that this is on.
I'm not going to believe you if you say you got the really good one. I'm going to say you're cheating and everyone will side with me.
Nope. So I have Final Sacrifice. The hero knows they will die soon. Time to go out in a blaze of cinematic last stand glory. Hero gets 7 final advantages to spend as they like and gains 77 temporary life for a cinematic last stand.
Whoa.
Holy crap.
No.
So probably something maybe with like the internal satrap mechanism, maybe. Is that what it is? Like maybe like there's some sort of like fail safe device or whatever. I don't know. How would you describe it? What would this look
So
like?
satraps do have a like the crystal bodies basically with like the save sheet stuff that they
Mhm.
have. So there's that. So yes, I have 7 advantages, which I'd actually forgotten to roll a disadvantage, but you know,
That's fine.
I have 7 advantages and 77 hit points to do with as I want.
Okay.
We're at the halfway mark. One more.
So yeah, MSG, you just see her just get blown like there's a huge cloud of like just dust where she was a second ago, but as the dust settles from like the explosions, you see like this completely riddled body of like this satrap. It just almost looks like it's kind of falling apart, but just seems to get this last reaction, this sudden jerk of like adrenaline and caffeine as it surges through her. Okay.
You've got this.
Inside, you guys, those of you that are inside, Ensen, Carne, and the kite, all of you, like the 3 of you, feel like something amiss. Like you just suddenly feel like this intense and overwhelming feeling of burning, as if like you're just being cooked, like boiled in water. Like you're just completely enveloped in heat. Like it's not scalding as much as it's just all encompassing. And you see that the void that you're in begins to flicker again. And so you can see that for some reason, like everything's kind of flickering. Tango, roll your outside the box thinking. And then
I hate
Ensign, you can do it too at disadvantage. I'm looking for 15. And it is 9, so you all can take an extra heroic.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought we were going to kill Chuck and Dan tonight. Kill
Surprise.
Melissa instead.
I did not roll a backup character because I did
Do I get to add anything to this?
What do you usually use? Chuck is thought, right? Or what do you use? Or aura? What attribute
Yeah,
do you
it's
use?
aura.
Aura.
All right.
That-
Can I use my thick skull skill?
You don't have a skull right now.
True.
It's
That's
right now.
actually-
Khalil. It's cradled in Khalil's coffee hands right now.
Fair. All right.
That's
I'm gonna
4 for
spend.
me, actually.
It's a 4. Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
spend a heroic to roll at advantage, and
Okay, so
then
they'll cancel out, and you'll
potentially-
just roll normal.
I'm gonna spend 2 heroics to also roll at advantage.
That's fine. You can totally do that. This is funny.
Ooh.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Oh,
And then I'm gonna roll one more d6.
Okay.
Ah,
Can't do it.
12.
Okay. Bert, roll an aura test for Kite. Okay, 11. Not quite enough. Okay.
I want Kite to live. Can I spend my heroic?
Yes, go right
Do you
ahead.
have any?
You need to hit a 15. If you can hit a 15, good things will happen to Kite.
Okay.
Do we have any
A
cash
good result.
heroics?
I think we're out of banked.
I think we're out of
We are.
banked.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're out.
No 12.
12. Okay. So, MSG, you notice that some of like the lighted canisters that are on like the back of this hippopotamus thing are like flickering, and you can see that a couple of them are like all the ones that are lit that actually have something in them. You can see that there's like little bits of steam or something, not the actual inner vapor, as if like they're not sitting correctly, as if something's wrong, almost as if like the teapot. Sorry, Dan. Like a teapot is like boiling and something's kind of coming out of it here and there, as if it's about to burst in some way. Okay. So then it's gonna come back to you guys. So MSG and Satrap, you're out here all by yourselves with this big thing that just essentially one-shot Lamb. It's moving very slowly. It's going to get to, you would probably, at its current pace, it'll probably be there, not this turn, but next turn, to that middle central portion. So you have like this turn and next turn. You have 2 actions, 2 rounds, I would say, before it makes it to that center compound.
did I get put back in my body?
No, I think you meant me. Because I
Okay.
went down and I'm back up.
Okay, all right. I was
I was
just
using
hopeful.
teapot, like a boiling teapot, as a visual, and I forgot that your name was Teapot for a second.
That's all right.
I'd imagine I'd go for another crippling shot.
Go for it.
Okay.
And I'll say that because you kind of know where to shoot at this point, you don't really have to. I won't give the bonus to
Okay.
its AC this time. So
I'll
it's just your
spend heroic for advantage again.
okay.
So we got 17 and a 20. Oh, a crit.
Roll another d20.
Nice.
Right. It's not a crit, but
Okay.
you know, single crit. I'll live with it.
Yeah. You can basically double your damage. So roll your damage, double it. 17, by the way, would not have been good enough.
Okay, so we'll roll 2d10. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Come on now. 26.
26. So that's total of, I think you've done 34 points of damage to this thing so far. Let me check its health. It is still up. But I will say, since you were specifically again trying to slow it down, I'll add an extra round. So it's now going to be 2 rounds from now. It'll make it. So it's really kind of falling apart like a train where pieces are just sort of falling apart as it's going, and you can see it's constantly getting slower and slower, and you can see there are chunks of it that are just falling off to the sides here and there. Okay.
So Lamb, kind of in the spirit of the cinematic last stand.
One second.
Oh,
You get
sorry.
a second action. Don't forget, 2 actions. We're in proper
Oh.
combat now, so you can take 2 actions.
I mean, okay then.
Yeah.
I'll give it another shot. This one, I won't do the college shot.
Okay.
Just do a standard shot, and I will suck.
Okay. Second one goes wide. All right, Satrap. Lamb 956.
So Lamb is going to jump back up on and kind of climb back up on top of this thing.
Okay.
And so what Lamb is wanting to do is kind of look for that more like a headshot. So kind of getting more up and being able to kind of shoot at its head from its back.
Yeah, you still don't see a head. Like, remember you did a roll for that earlier, is you never really quite saw
Oh,
a
yeah,
head.
I see a face.
But I'll say that with all of MSG's like attacks at like specific locations, it's definitely revealed some weak spots, and so we'll say you can attack a weak spot if you want.
Okay. Trying to be heroic and like take it on from the front.
Yeah, you can get out in
what I'm
front of it.
thinking.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just want to get out in front of it and just sort of put a hand up or something, yeah, that's fine.
And then shooting at it.
Okay, don't forget your advantages.
Yes. So
Yay.
okay, so I've got advantage and my agility. Abilities wise, I don't know that there's anything that'll go for this one, so I will roll 2d20s and see what I get with that. Highest being a 10, and then so 14. And I'll go ahead and use my heroic to add a d6.
Okay. 14's not good enough. You need to get to an 18 for SAC. 5 will do it.
Yep.
Yes, this has a hardened ability, so it's got extra AC. 19, roll your damage. Hey, Captain.
What is damage on this again?
Jeremy killed Melissa.
I rolled 2d12, and I rolled a 1 and a 2 for a total of 3. That
It's
is
really
not
just-
particularly cinematically heroic.
It's not.
That's
It
just
looked
not.
amazing. Like the whole thing, you just like ran up, leapt over top of this falling like carapace that MSG is like knocking off. Like you flip, you do a tumble over, you get out in front of it, and you just like Captain America punch it or something like that right in its front part, and it kind of it sort of like shudders a bit. It's just, you don't know, and it looks great. It looks amazing. I mean, you wouldn't know that it didn't really do a whole lot of damage, but it looked amazing. Okay.
Great.
Okay. Khalil's still moving. Ensen and Carne, Tango, and Kite. Go ahead and roll another one of those outside the box aura tests. DC 15.
I'm gonna drop a heroic. On
Yeah, go
this
for it.
one.
Oh my god, so close with the 14.
Cool. I gotta see.
Innocent little kite can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. So MSG, you're watching. You're seeing all the canisters. You see one of them. Just that sort of steam continues to evacuate it, and then suddenly you can see that the color kind of changes from that just basic like gray white steam color until it gets kind of bluish all of a sudden. The violet it's emptying from the canister turns a little blue, and then you see just forming in front of you is Tango Carney once more in his not physical, in his incorporeal shape, as Tango, you have gotten out of this creature.
Booger is reborn.
Hey guys. I'm back.
Tango, never had a doubt. Knew you'd be fine.
Nice. But yeah, Kite and Ensign, they're doing pretty shitty in there. Whatever you're doing, you should do more of it.
Okay then.
Okay, so this thing will now get to go, and so I'll do once again. I will 1 to 3.
You should just shoot me because I've got 77 HP to heroic
Uh-huh.
out in a blaze of.
I think I'm going to shoot the cat. Though it's going to be at a further range because you're further back, so it's going to be more difficult. So have you been staying like on the far side of the room as far away as possible and still having a
Oh
shot?
yeah,
Okay.
I've got a violent cat rifle, so I can stay pretty far away.
Right. Give yourself +6 to your AC.
Oh my. Okay.
I do not have good range on this thing. So whatever you got, add 6 to it. I can
Okay.
still probably hit you though. If I roll 24.
Damn.
I
I mean,
rolled-
no.
Damn Dang it. Okay. So once more, another volley of these tiny little missiles like fly through and hurtle through the air. 13 points of damage onto MSG as you and Tango are having this moment, kind of shouting at each other from across the room. Tango, you watch it's just like 30 of these tiny little missiles just hurtle across the room at an immense amount of speed, like crazy bugs drunkenly flying all over the place, all to just burst right on top of where MSG used to stand.
That really sucks.
Oh man.
Was MSG still inside the shrimp mech
Um,
in terms of armor?
It's up to you. You tell me.
I don't.
Would it matter? That's
I don't
what's
know
your-
that would-
Oh,
What's your AC?
I with your +6, I was at 22.
and the roll was a 24.
I think a tie still hits, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, you have to exceed.
I have to exceed. Okay. I can never remember which is which in which system.
Yeah, you have to exceed. I don't know. Do you think you'd still be wearing it?
So to be fair, like I actually joked in chat earlier that he might have taken it off just so he could try on that gentleman's hat.
Okay. It's up to you, man. I defer to you. No problem either way.
I think at the time that he was sitting there watching the hologram and waiting on everybody else, let's be honest, he doesn't want to stay confined in that suit. I think he would have taken it off. In fairness, he wouldn't stay in it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Are you okay though? You're all right?
I wouldn't exactly say I'm okay, but I'm up.
Okay. So we'll say now, as we come back to you all, this thing again is now 2 rounds away from being able to dump whatever's left inside of it into whatever is in this middle console. At this point, Khalil, you've made it back. You've got
Oh crap!
right in time to see just MSG explode in front of you. Okay, but so you'll be in the combat this round now. Tango as well, if there's something you want to try to do. Teapot, you are in the armpit of your satrap friend right now, and then Ensen and Kite are still inside. So I'll hand it over to you all. It's your turns. What do you want to do?
Like, are like y'all just blowing this thing up?
Yep, that's the plan. And like Lamb sounds very like labored breathing and a bit slow. So what she's looking to do this time is she's just trying to shoot this thing from all angles. So what she's wanting to do this time is a little bit of sort of like the speed, like hanging on underneath the bus kind of a thing, and just see if she can kind
Nice.
of like have it like walk over her so that she can just shoot up and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just lay down and it just crawls over top of you, and you're just shooting it in the undercarriage.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Take advantage. Actually, you already have advantage in these
I've got
attacks.
advantage, yeah.
I'll just lower the AC because like that actually is underneath its carapace, and so it makes perfect sense. So yeah,
All right.
I'll
So
just
I'm rolling
lower
the
it.
2d20s first for the advantage.
We'll say
I've
like
got a
14.
15 plus 4 for my agility would be 19.
Okay, 19 to hit.
Yeah.
That is enough. Roll damage.
Yeah.
20.
Nice.
That's a hell of a roll. This thing does not look good. As I don't know if Khalil and MSG and Tango can see everything that's happening or not, but you see that like explosions are now beginning to come from underneath, like the undercarriage. You're seeing like wholesale sections of this thing just erupt outward to the sides and just fly and smash against all of these different consoles in the room. Okay. Who else wants to go? Or wait, you get another action. You get another attack. Yeah, you get 2 actions.
All right.
You could finish it. You definitely could.
Yes.
All right. So that is a 17 plus 4 is a 21 to hit.
That's plenty. Roll damage again.
23.
Yes.
Nice.
1 point for max damage.
That will most certainly do it. That's more than enough. Okay. So you guys watch as this, like the first cacophony explosion underneath, and you see all the carapace kind of flying off in bits and pieces, smashing into other sections of the room. And then as if it's like this cascade effect, a massive explosion, then almost like a little mini mushroom cloud right in the middle as the whole thing erupts from underneath. And you guys, as like the dust is settling, as like all of the rubble is sort of spreading outward, you can see like the sort of scorched and broken and kind of scattered body of like Satrap, 956 Lamb right underneath, like right in the wake of all of this.
Do I have
Ow, damn cat. Jeez. Sorry.
do I have enough for like a dying?
Oh yeah. Why don't we handle this? Ensen, you go ahead and Ensen and Kite go ahead and roll that thought test again. Aura test again. See if you can get out of the box.
No.
Wow. That's
goodness.
awful.
So, Jeff,
Yes.
one of the things that I got as an ability when we leveled
Mhm.
is the coffee magic. And I defined one of them as sleep, but the other one as wake even the dead.
Okay. Okay.
So Khalil is going to run over and give her a coffee infusion stat.
Okay. So Satrap, you're laying there, you're on like you're seeing your whole life pass by, and Khalil is suddenly over top of you, and he's trying to give you coffee.
I just put a funnel in her mouth.
Where does it go on a Satrap? That's the real question.
That is the real question.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere.
Just pour the pot on top.
Poor
Okay.
Phil comes skittering in and it's like, "Brr."
Live, damn you.
So here's an interesting question. You've probably been backed up at some place, or you probably have a save point. Satraps get one of their sort of cultural or racial or whatever you want to call them abilities.
Crystal
Is that
bodies.
they have crystal bodies. They have the ability to sort of have effectively a save point. And so like where you'll have a gap obviously, but like where your last save point was, wherever that might be.
Yeah, so whenever a satrap would have visited a satrap outpost,
Mhm.
which would have detailed skills, abilities, and attributes to be stored in the backup.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure we've done yet.
We
We haven't done in game, but like you guys came eastward, so I'm perfectly fine with saying it. It's one of those things where like I think she'll be off screen for a bit, but it's possible like we could bring Lamb back. I think
Like
at the
maybe
very
go back to
least,
the village we've been to or something.
yeah, I think at the very least we could say that like the use of the coffee kind of gives her a little bit more time. And so like she has a little bit more time, but because Satrap's like the biology works a little differently, it's one of those things where I think it'll kind of like it is an adrenaline shot essentially, so it keeps you up and moving for a little while longer.
Coffee will wear out.
But it will wear. We'll say
Oh, yeah.
because
Yep.
it will wear out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely the role. Like it's a cinematic
Yeah.
last stand, and like yeah, I'm totally.
So
fine with
yeah,
that.
we'll say Lamb is not gone yet, but you're on a very quickly diminishing clock. So you have maybe a couple days probably before like that clock will diminish, and so it gives you a little bit more time to do what you want to do. And we can also do some rolls to see where you might have actually stored yourself, and then potentially the caravan could use that as one of their next destinations, going to pick you up or something like that.
If they want to spend $5,000 to restore.
You guys got plenty of money. Okay, so Ensign, you rolled a 2 on your on your test. Okay. So Tango, you watch as this thing explodes. There's 2 remaining one of these canisters that like fly across the room, and I think Tango's probably the one that's, I think you might be able to kind of conclude, especially with if you put your heads together with MSG, like exactly what that is. It's most likely one of them is Ensign and one of them is Kite, and you see them both exploding and hurtling across the room. The vapor is now emptying out from the canisters as they are slowly vaporizing in front of you. You would think if they're not covered quickly, they might dissipate entirely and will never be seen again.
My soul's leaking.
Kite!
I don't have a real body.
Doesn't have hands.
But if it's soul energy that's slinking out and I'm a soul energy, I have a great idea. I am going to go up to one of them that I can get to.
Okay.
Like the little crack where it's hissing out. I am going to put my little ghostly mouth right over it. And I'm just going to suck all of their soul out into me.
What a hero. Okay, Ensen and Khalil, you're rolling for your kite. Both of you roll a charisma test. Whoever's higher is the one that Tango sucks out.
Oh my god.
Neither of them want this.
What?
The dice don't want this, clearly.
Okay. So you go ahead. You hear the voice, like just like you were inside the creature. You suddenly feel and hear and sense the voice of Ensen once more inside of your head.
You're in my belly.
I thought I was in hell before.
Are you
Okay.
gonna like baby bird him back into his body now?
I'm going to go crawl up Ensign's nose and release it.
Okay. All right. Who wants to do something for Kite though? Like so
I'll-
while
Lamb
Okay.
can, because Lamb's got the suit, unless MSG's got a
No, I
material
just
to
have a
keep it.
weird stretchy body that I was going to wrap
Oh,
around it.
perfect. You should do that.
Okay. So we see like Fantastic Four. Reed Richards arm just kind of goes out, wraps around the canister before too much of it leaks out, and you do manage to grab it just in time before like a little bit probably seeps out. Probably not enough to cause any lasting damage. Maybe a memory or two is missing, but it's otherwise intact. Okay. So reconvening then, let's take a look at what we have. We have a completely and utterly destroyed hippopotamus pillbug creature that's now exploded in the middle of the room. We've had
Did
lamb.
any of the little canisters make it in the explosion? Or did they all go?
Oh, like the empty ones?
Like, were there other?
The only ones that were lit were people that were accounted for. So it was like
Oh,
the
okay.
guy who no one wanted
Who,
to talk
who did
to.
I have in my suit
You have
then?
Teapot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you've
it.
got
Okay,
Teapot.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one that got sucked out, who rolled the lowest, was the NPC who had plenty of info he could have given you, but he got sucked out first. Then it was
Gone forever.
Teapot. Yeah. Then I think Tango got next, and then like Khalil or Kite, I should say, and Ensign were the last one left in there. Okay. So let's see. All right, so let's sort of like rehash what's actually happening here. So we've got
So I can break his canister over Teapot's body.
yeah. Does anyone Tango? I'm gonna say like I don't even think you need a roll for this. I think this is just a natural thing that you probably can do. Like I just feel like this soul transference. Yeah, like there's no reason to outplay this too much, but like I think one by one you're able to help transfer everyone back into their body after a very strange experience inside of the incorporeal ghost creature snot bubble that is Tango.
Mhm.
You
So-
all were inside me.
Okay, and so Joe and Dan, what's one thing like we're gonna introduce truths. Jeremy and I have been playing 2D20 systems. It's got truths. We're gonna introduce truths.
Okay.
Ensign and Dan, I want you both to. There's a memory or something, an experience that you observed or felt while inside of Tango about Tango that he might not tell. What is it? Come up with like a truth for me. Like, what's something that you glimpsed about Tango's life that he doesn't usually show? You just got a little tiny glimpse of it.
So-
And Chuck, you can do the same thing for them.
Question about Tango, like has he always been in the form he is now, or are there like do they used to be people and they've like become ghosts? Or, like, how does that work?
I don't think we've really established that one way or the other. So it's whatever. If you got an idea, roll with it, man.
I mean, I've got one
Oh,
real
that's
quick.
real
That's
good.
just sort of in character with other Chuck characters. If you know,
Okay. What do we know about Tango?
It's about putting the feet together. You know,
Okay, has a
Lots-
foot fetish.
lots of putting the feet together.
At some point in time, Tango, or maybe Tango still does, has a strange foot fetish. Okay, got it.
Sometimes I'll possess people and just go down into their feet and just like
Oh, God.
wiggle their toes and rub them together.
Oh God, I regret this so much. Why did I do this, Dan? You of all people. Okay, got it. Chuck, what's something you observed about Teapot while he was inside your aura?
Oh, I know what's inside the suit.
Oh boy, you don't have to tell us, but we're just gonna say like if you can tell us if you want, but like Tango knows what's inside Teapot's suit.
I'd like to imagine it's full of chili, personally speaking.
No, it's not.
Oh, man.
Okay, that's a great one, Chuck. All right, Joe, do you have something for Tango?
I lived a horrific experience of him inside of the battle ass.
It's hard.
Okay,
It's a real question.
so Ensen has experienced the battle ass. Okay, and then Tango, what did you observe about Ensen?
Oh, I got something. Oh no,
It's code. It's carrot coding. Oh no.
no.
The
No, I know something about Ensen that brings Ensen great shame every day of his life. It's the fact that his left calf muscle is an implant, because no matter what he would do, it just wouldn't gain. So he got
no.
an implant, so it would match the right.
Chuck's really good. That's really, really good. That's fantastic. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So one by
My
one, everyone.
Achilles calf.
Oh, geez. One by one, everyone gets back into their bodies. Lamb, you're kind of hanging on, but you can already feel like all of the inner workings are beginning to sort of shut down, and things are kind of passing down. You know, like they're depleting. But everyone's here. You can see that there's like this huge destroyed biomechanical pill bug. There's consoles everywhere. There's like this what looks like now kind of a broken elevator door, and there's like a couple other what looks like kind of locked doors here and there. What do you guys want to do in here?
We
Oh,
made it
like-
here. Do we want to like finish exploring? I guess.
There's supposed to be treasure here. So
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
dragon in here somewhere
Or
that was
not
eating
dragon.
the souls, or not dragon, a dragony, not dragon. And also, this thing might be a spaceship.
For what's worth, if this is where the soul sucking happens, they were trying to. The weird hologram thing is we're trying to say to go a different direction that hopefully isn't a soul sucking place.
Can I do a quick check if there's anything salvageable from this before we go?
From the yeah, go ahead and roll you can roll Vomtech.
Perfect. I gotta get a +2 on that still. Thought as well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, it's a nat 20.
Roll it again.
Ooh.
I have my only nat 20 for the night, but there it is.
Okay. So you are able to, okay, so first of all, we'll just give you some basic foam parts. So we'll give you that. But I'll extend this even further because that's a nat 20 and it deserves a little something extra. So we'll say you'll get like 12 sacks worth of Voam gear, like Voamish parts and stuff like that. You know,
Nice.
mechanical equipment. All right. So then the second thing though is like as you're kind of exploring and messing around, like you're having to pull parts out of these consoles as it exploded, and then some of them got lodged into some of these different consoles. And as you're doing so, you just sort of notice you kind of recognize the layout of one of these consoles as almost like a door control, and you start messing with it a little bit, and moments later you can see that this this heavy door off to the right, like in the room, like on one side, we'll say like the 3 o'clock area is a circular room, just opens up right as you mess with it. And when you peek inside, you can see that there's like a bed, like this long, like really long, like 10, 12 foot long bed. It's a little twice as wide, but it's very hard. But whatever substance this is, it's like almost rubbery in some respects. It looks like there's some kind of like writing desk. This looks like a captain's quarters or like a bedroom or something like that. And you find like that there's like moving around the room, there's like a variety of like these little bits and pieces and gears and stuff like that is kind of interesting. You find a foot locker, we'll call it, that has what looks like a bunch of gear in it. There's some bronze bracelets that look kind of interesting, and they kind of, every time you mess with them, they sort of got some sort of holographic kind of stuff going on when you mess around with them. There's 6 what looks like these colorful grenades. There's a gun. And it looks like there's some of those canisters that you saw on the back of that big Vohm creature that have floating ghostly soul stuff in it.
Oh, so there's some loaded soul canisters here too.
Yeah.
Maybe we could like pour these on some other unfortunate souls that we like less than potentially these.
Maybe the people in the box?
I think we got to give them up though, don't we? Do we want to put
yeah.
more souls in them?
That's a good point.
Well, that's exciting.
So yeah, bracelets, grenade. There are 4 parchmensters, 6 grenades, 1 very cool looking pistol that has a some sort of parchment wrapped around it, except it's like a rubbery parchment. Like, so it's like it looks like it's paper, but like it's almost like this rubbery bit, and as you unfurl it, you can see there's words that begin to light up. And then that was like kind of wrapped around the gun. There is with the grenades, there is like this like kind of brass tube that when you uncork, you pull it out. It's like and this is actually physical paper as you pull it out, and it seems to be a contract. And then roll a thought test. Okay, yeah, 18's plenty. Yeah, it's definitely kind of written in stilted language. It's like kind of like reading. It's like us reading something written in like the 13th or 14th century. Like we can kind of recognize some of the words, but like some of them don't make sense. But like through context, you can kind of discern a little bit. It looks like it's some kind of like wanted poster type of thing. Like it's a warrant of some kind. But you do recognize 2 things. You recognize the term ultra, and you recognize the proper noun lavender cliffs.
Okay.
And there's actually one other thing you found that I totally forgot to give you. You found what looks like half a black moon key. That was in one of the drawers. Like it's by key I mean like a small, like couple inches long piece of metal.
Nice. How many
like
bronze bracelets?
It's a pair. It looks like it's a pair, so they're kind of like wrapped together, and you kind of put them on. And I'll give you all that. With the different stats and stuff for that later.
Perfect. That was an exciting find. I found some treasure.
So there's an elevator?
Yes. It's a little busted. Seems to be in relatively decent shape. It looks like when you take a look at it, Lamb, it's mainly like the outer door that seems to be like it's got kind of like a gate that seems to be damaged, but the interior looks fine. But yeah, you could potentially pop in and go down.
So Lamb's gonna kind of look at everybody and just say, "There's an elevator. It could go
Nice.
somewhere else if we want to take a look."
You want me to go scout it out?
I'm okay to go. Too.
Okay.
Got a little bit left.
You know, if you want, like, you know, if like your body's failing, I could like crawl up in there, pull your soul out, and like you could hang out like me, you know? Super cool. Ghosty ghost.
Satraps have a way of doing the crystal thing. I think I'd like to honor that tradition. I appreciate the offer, though.
Okay.
I do. So Lamb will get in the elevator, and anybody else can join if they want to or not.
Roll a d6, by the way.
6.
Okay. Your crystal body backup is Spectrum Run. That was the last
Don't know
place
what
you.
that means.
It's a different
the location.
destination.
Okay.
That's where your save point was for Lamb. It's a little further west.
Okay. I was like, a spectrum is running it? I don't
Yeah,
know
there are a
what that
couple.
means.
There's like I was basically I was doing 3 different choices: Spectrum Run, Spectrum Palace, and then Lasera.
Got it. Okay.
And you rolled
A little
the
ways out yet.
yeah. So you rolled the run for Spectrum Run. Okay.
All right. So do you want to come with me, Tango? Down the elevator?
Yeah. I can do that.
Okay.
Khalil is talking soothing words to his kite. It's all right, buddy. It's all right.
We had a traumatic
Yeah.
experience.
And like it's like Kite's trying to tell you something. Like you can sense that it saw something horrific, and every time it does, it kind of looks over towards Tango, and then back towards you. Seems very distraught. Okay. So Lamb and Carne are going down.
I'll go
Khalil
too.
is okay. So you're gonna go down as well. MSG, Ensign, what do you guys want to do?
I feel like Ensign's not right after that whole experience. So he'd kind of just be like staring at his hands and be like, I'm weak, and like kind of following along. But he'd be eagerly looking for any opportunity to like use his might for something. So,
Okay.
he'd probably just be kind of sitting back until he sees something that needs moved.
Okay. I mean, you could probably. I mean, Teapot just salvaged a bunch of like good machine parts. Someone's got to move that stuff back up to the surface. So you could probably, and they're
Yeah.
heavy. You could probably do that.
I'd definitely
Okay.
be working on that then.
Okay. So, MSG, what are you doing?
Fine, I'll go down to. Yeah, why not?
Okay. So Khalil is taking care of his kite.
I'll go too. I'm just
okay.
dragging the kite along, talking to him the whole time.
Okay. And you can see it's like hiding behind you and constantly looking over at Tango in the whole process, like like looking over top of your shoulder at him. Something he saw. Okay, so all of you go down by Ensign. And you can see that it's one of those types of elevators that you can kind of see through. So as you're going, kind of down a bit. And as you're moving down, you notice that the next room below where you're at is again that kind of huge cylindrical, sort of shape, that sort of the rotund room. And you can see that connected to like where the roof is, or where the ceiling was, where that hippopotamus thing was trying to get on top of. It looks like that was some kind of receptacle, because immediately underneath it looks like there's this just the strangest looking thing you've ever seen. There's just large cylindrical glowing something, almost looks like a warp engine from like Next Generation or something like that. and it's massive. So it's like this huge cylinder that's got to be at least like 15 feet in diameter, and it's about something like 100 feet tall because you're just going down the whole way. And you do see like along that cylinder, there are all of these like kind of mechanical arms that are sticking out here and there. None of them are moving. The only light in here is this very faint glow that's coming off of the generator. Other than that, there's like no light in here. It's incredibly dark. But that's like the only thing in here. But you can either get off or you can kind of keep going down.
It's up to you. I mean, that thing looks super cool.
We want to look at it or just carry on?
I mean, we're here to see where everything could be, so I'm up for taking a closer look.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to interact with it, but just look and see if I can understand.
Of course.
Teapot, yeah, go ahead and roll. Just roll like I thought, and if one of your machinery is fine. It's not foam tech, but like if you have some other kind of machinery thing, you can apply it here.
I do have the Vec repair. That helps.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine.
I'm gonna go ahead and use a heroic. It did not help.
That did not go well. That is not enough to deduce what this does. I'll say this though, you think it's got something you think it's some kind of like maybe a power storage thing. For what reason or how, you're not really sure, but it's sort of like dropping off souls or something like that, and energy and a receptacle. Like that's probably your best guess, but you don't really have anything more specific and confident than that.
Yeah, I don't want to burn all my heroics just yet. Last
So
time that came back to bite me.
So we'll say you guys just do like a once around the room. There's a couple consoles here and there, and you can tell that like, I think one of the things you can observe is that the consoles themselves, like there's a handful of places that like people could sit, but like the size is sort of peculiar. Like the biggest one among you is probably Ensen, but it's definitely whoever would be sitting in some of these chairs and some of these stations is like, there are large people. They're like, like they're about like where the actual surface of these countertops would be. None of it seems to be under power. Like everything you mess with, everything doesn't seem like any of these consoles are on power. Like this whole area certainly seems like it's struggling to sort of do anything with power. And like there's and it's just that faint glow from the warp field thingy.
So can we try to do anything at any of the consoles?
Yeah, none of them seem to have any power though. Doesn't seem like there's enough power in here to even run the lights in most of this area.
I think I saw something like this in a movie once. Like, does someone have a flute to play?
No, but I could make some whistling noises.
You should do that.
The generator explodes. Everyone dies. There's nothing else in here, but that you did notice that the elevator does go down one more flight.
Well, we could check down there. If we're really curious and desperate, we've got 4 souls. We could try to feed it.
No, let's not do that.
Only as a last resort. I mean, or if it seems polite.
Yeah, let's check the next floor, I suppose.
Okay. So you go down another floor, and it's the same relative size. It's massive. And even more of that, like, sort of warp field cylinder thing. It's the same thing. Floor to ceiling, this thing's twice as wide now. It's like it's even bigger down here. There's still not a whole lot of light. You do notice that there is one archway door in here that seems, in addition to the elevator where you get off, like one bit. Other than that, it seems pretty much the same. But like I would say, Teapot especially, you get the feeling that everything in this room is connected to everything in the room above. Like it's one big thing. And then like a receptacle for it was the floor above. Like this is literally like a 200 to 300 foot tall device.
Right. It's all one.
It's all one big thing. Yeah.
That's impressive. Do we want to just check through the other door? Do we want to look at stuff again down here?
I mean, if you're curious, I'm glad to support that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and try it one more time here.
Okay.
See if the view from the basement is better.
Okay.
I'll
So-
go ahead and spend another heroic on it.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll.
Hey.
Didn't even need to. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, like you're 100% confident at this point. It's some kind of engine.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like it's certainly a power supply source, but it likely like you're confident that this is going, like if this thing was like fully illuminated and like had a full container of power, like the amount of energy that could be produced from this thing is like astronomical. Like this thing could do pretty much any number of things. Like your imagination, sky's the limit on that. Like it could do anything. That could be a weapon. It's hard to say. You haven't really seen enough of anything else to suggest what this might be, whether it's a weapon, whether it's like an engine for like a ship that travels. It's hard to be 100% sure without seeing like the totality of everything. But one thing you're confident of is that it's very low on power, that whatever amount of energy could be stored in here is probably more than like the entirety of the Violet City, more than like the entirety of like when you were at Spectrum Palace and stuff. Like it's that type of thing. Like there's so much here that it just would kind of dwarf. Like you're literally looking at like a nuclear power generator.
Beyond comprehension.
Yeah,
pretty much.
it's like blowing your mind. Like this is a hell of a find. And it's not so much like the history books that you think would probably like this. It would be like any of a number of people would probably be very interested in the potential that this energy could be produced here.
It could solve the world energy crisis.
It could.
If you don't mind sacrificing people to it.
It's a small price to pay.
I mean, we saw some riffraff in the other town. There were cats mingling with dogs, and that just won't do.
That sounds like prime candidates for reactor fuel.
Madness.
Exactly.
And then there is a separate door down here as well, like a large door.
Through the door. Lamb goes.
Okay. We're getting kind of close to the end, so I'll just sort of get along with it. But basically, MSG, as you guys are kind of pathing, through a couple different passageways and things, and you're kind of looking off this way and that, like you notice what looks like that same kind of flickering holographic figure you've seen before. Like you would probably conclude at some point, like maybe this was the path that, or maybe you take a few minutes and you sort of scout it out or whatever. You do notice though that the hallways here are big enough, wide enough, just like above, for one of those giant like hippopotamus things. And as you get through like the last open door in here, you do in fact find another one of them, except it's inert. It doesn't seem to be functional. Doesn't have any energy. It's just sitting there like almost completely dead by itself, a couple feet away from this glowing gate. So you see it's kind of like this large rectangular gate, big enough for this to slide through, and it's just kind of a glowing, glistening bit of water, like a turned on Stargate.
Go for a swim.
Down on the ground or upright?
It's upright. I mean, it looks like this thing was like, you would guess this thing was maybe trying to go into or just come out of this thing.
That could have very, very different meanings depending on which one of those it was.
Yep.
I think it might be fun to go in. In I go.
Like it's active
Okay.
still.
It's glowing.
It's glowing. Yeah. It's like a turned on Stargate.
Hmm.
Tango disappears in.
I see Richard Dean Anderson.
It's just this long roller coaster, like you're in a
Oh, wow.
wormhole. Whee! Does anybody else go through before I describe what Tango sees? You have to make the call now.
I'm going.
He went in with me, so I'll go in
Kite's
with
too
him.
traumatized. I don't know if he'll
God.
recover. He keeps looking sidelong.
Oh God.
The Lamb wants to pull Teapot aside because Tango and Khalil just went in.
Yep.
And Lamb is going to say to Teapot, "You didn't actually see what happened earlier, but I don't
When?
have much longer
Oh,
when you were out.
In.
Looked cool when I was taking that thing out, but it kind of
So
got me
cool.
at first.
Terrible.
I maybe a couple days. Khalil gave me some of that coffee. Strong stuff.
It does work.
It does actually work. It's got a kick. It's
That
got a kick
tastes
to
bad.
it. But I'm not going to be able to see this through after this. I don't think. And I just got to say, all those, with us, we don't have many of us. I mean, we're numbered, for crying out loud. There's not many of us around, and those. Now that we know that in the box, like they're alive in there.
Yeah.
I'd like if you could do something about that.
See if we can do something. I mean, they're not satraps, but they don't deserve it.
So, probably not. I mean, maybe they do, and maybe if you find out that they do, then that could be fine. But maybe they don't, and I don't know. That just doesn't sit well with me. But I'll trust that you'll figure something out with it.
We'll see what we can do.
All right, let's jump through this door. See what happens.
Yeah.
Leap of faith. Everybody in.
Maybe we all die together.
Okay. So everyone jumps in, but Ensen, who's doing chores up top. Everyone but Chuck roll an aura test. Chuck, you're actually immune to this. It literally says that ultras are immune to this.
Nice.
Okay, go ahead and spend my last heroic.
Okay, yeah, you could do that.
Oh my gosh,
God, no.
Dan!
I'll spend a heroic as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I didn't need to.
Oh, dude, this is so sad. Okay.
I'm gonna die after all.
So Dan, you rolled a 3, correct?
I sure did. Twice.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
I'm trying. Come on. Do the thing. Won't let me roll.
No. Because it knows what's about to happen to you. All right. Jeremy, what'd you roll?
19.
Okay. You managed to get through.
There they all came all at once.
Oh,
You managed to get through without
Holy crap.
any negative like you don't feel any symptoms of stepping through this gate.
The first one was a 1, whatever that means.
Oh my god.
It's as bad as it
What
can
did I
get.
do, Captain? What did I do? They went through the gate. Chuck, you're fine. Khalil.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, you get through the gate and you don't feel any effects as you burst out the other side. Like it just it's a little bit of a disorienting feeling, but you're able to right yourself, focus, everything's okay. Khalil, would you roll?
13.
Okay. You come through and it's like you're suffering like just an absolutely like the worst case of vertigo possible, where like you don't know what's up, what's down, what's right, what's left, and you're kind of stumbling over on the ground. You don't even get a chance to really look around too much before you fall and try to stand and fall and try to stand. It's like you're effectively it's very uncomfortable for you, but you're able to kind of get your feet underneath you. There's no lasting negative thing here. It's just you're very uncomfortable and very uneasy feeling kind of coming
The
through.
perfect time for a coffee.
Okay. Melissa, Satrap, the Satrap 956. What'd you get?
11.
Okay. You get through and you immediately feel a sense of overwhelming nausea, or at least the version that a satrap feels, as you just maybe even Phil's with you and Phil just starts vomiting. And it's just a very kind of
In the
awful feel
pocket.
in the pocket.
Yeah.
You suffer -1 agility and charisma.
Okay.
Okay, Ensign, you're fine because you're not there. Okay, so then Teapot, what did you roll for? Would you say you roll for the D6 I asked you?
1.
Okay. You step through the gate. This is in the book. You step through the gate and have absolutely no memory of the people that are standing around you.
Dying request to my fellow
I know.
satrap. An immediate memory wipe.
Oh my god.
Not only that, Teapot, but you look down at your suit and you see, like, let's call it maybe new gloves that you thought were new. Like, you just got these. You just got these, but they look terrible. They look worn up, beaten up. They look kind of dyed and stained and dented, and they look like someone's been using them for like 10 years. But you just got them yesterday. Teapot has basically suffered blank burn. The memories of the last 10 years are gone.
Wow.
Roll a D4.
No more rolling.
No more rolling for Dan. And you suffer -2 thought.
Oh, jeez. I had thought to lose, I guess.
And it's even more disorienting, Teapot, as you have no memory of anything that's happened. You step out of this gate, you look around, you see these other.
Is this a permanent loss of thought or a temporary?
I don't see anything to say that I don't think the thought is permanent, but the but the memories are.
Yeah, it kept me
Unfortunately.
from being broken.
Yeah. Okay. So
More
you step
broken.
through, you look around, you see this floating blue glowy. You see a cat with a wonderful hat and a very large rifle. You see a man who is sort of looking like he's a little bit dizzy and he is just guzzling coffee. And then you see another one of your kind, who's looks to be suffering from some sort of nausea and vomiting. And then as all of you begin to look around, you start to hear the sounds like you are in some kind of industrial factory. This cacophony of metal on metal, grind on grind. And you look around and you see, as far as the eye can see and as high as you can see, you see machinery everywhere. You see what looks like these massive metallic mechanical creatures, bigger than the hippopotamus pillbug thing that you saw before. You see what looks like these skyscrapers that go up hundreds and hundreds of feet that you don't even see the ceiling. You don't see a sky. You are in some kind of absolutely bizarre machine world where everything around you is mechanical. And as you move in, you watch as like this floating tentacled Metroid-like mechanical figure suddenly begins to burst out with this loud, horrible alarm, light whirling around. And you see slithering from every single direction that you can see in front of you, these mechanical creatures that, again, much larger than that pillbug, begin to just hurtle in your directions. And we'll go ahead and we'll stop there and we'll unless you got something, MSG.
No.
And we'll stop there as you guys.
I assume that
Unbelievable.
Teapot's just like,
It's
What an awful
utterly.
time to lose your memory.
This is literally machine like elder gods is what you are now witnessing right now, as it's the most terrifying, It's absolutely terrifying. I can't describe it in a way that would suggest anything better.
So what I'm
Okay.
hearing is that we made mistakes.
Or we did great.
It was, if as long as it was fun, there weren't any mistakes. Okay.
Look, you could not meet mechanical elder gods in any game.
Yes. They are. I can't
It's-
believe we're here. I
Oh
can't-
dear. We are.
We are in, like you guys were talking about being in hell. I'm like, that's funny because there's a gateway down there that goes to machine hell. That's so weird that that's what they're saying it's
Nice.
like. If they go through that, this is
It
going to
all
be so
comes around.
wonderfully. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh.
Oh boy. Yeah, they took the red pill. Yeah.
Just call it
uh,
True Mother?
I don't know. Yeah, this interesting turn of events tonight. And meanwhile, Ensen is just
Loading the truck.
I'm muscular. I'm strong.
I'm useful.
Except for
I
that
have
left half.
purpose.
Oh goodness. Okay. Let's do a closing roundtable. Let's see, Bert, what do you got going on this week?
Well, we got some first edition Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow night, Tuesday night, at Steam Still Murder on Twitch. And Friday, Bill, one of our players, is running a swords and wizardry adventure that he had wrote. And this Sunday, we're starting Boot Hill, another classic
Cool.
TSR game.
Very cool. Very cool. Chuck, DOK.
Oh man. Okay, so Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. We'll be over on Grim and Perilous Place playing some Tribes of Midgard. Wednesday and Thursday, we're kicking off brand new OSE mini campaigns. For Wednesday, it'll be Thunder Rift. For Thursday, it'll be the Dragon of Icespire Peak, the adventure from the D&D Essentials book. Friday at 10 p.m. on Defenders, we're doing Shadowrun. And then Saturday at 9 p.m., Bert's running some Lankmar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll put that down.
it's over on Goodman
Does Bert
Games
know this?
Official. Bert, that was my reminder to Bert.
Jeremy, other than what we've heard, what else you got going on this week?
I mean, other than hanging out with you guys doing that, I think we're gonna punch some Nazis and go just a little nuts on Thursday.
true.
Octon Cthulhu,
Yeah.
Garbleye Games.
Yep. Yeah, and then as for Melissa and I, Friday we'll be doing Delta Green, Possible Landscapes. Saturday we'll be doing One Wing Second Edition, and then next Monday we'll be doing Deadlands. So we alternate between UVG and Deadlands, so you can come check that out next time. But that's it. Thank you for those of you who hung out and watched. Thank you for those of you who are watching this later on YouTube. We will be back in 2 weeks with more UVG shenanigans and figure out just what the hell's happening as they are in machine hell. So I'm gonna throw us on the end screen and then I'll raid somebody so you can watch more cool stuff. So have a good night and have a good rest of your week.
Bye.